Hello, and welcome back to Agape Intelligence, AI. And today we're really going to be focusing on moving us from self study and self mastery and control to empathy, motivation, and harmony. Well, I guess I shouldn't say moving us on because remember, self study and self control and mastery is something that we do every day with every situation. And now that we know how to do that, we can really work on our relationships with other people. So that's what we're moving on to really is how to have healthy, happy, self-full relationships. And I'm so glad you're joining me. And I don't want you to feel at the least bit like I'm not going to have a whole challenge for this because I totally am. I know how much you love these challenges. So let's move on and do our thing. Some of what we're going to be talking about here is learning how to enjoy your peeps, learning how to really have these relationships. That's why we had worked on boundaries, and we're gonna talk about boundaries again a little bit here. I call this kind of thing creating a Willy Wonka environment because okay, that's one of my favorite movies, and I just love the fact that everything in that freaking movie is edible at the factory, right? And that people learn such great things in the factory about themselves and their behaviors. And so we want to really remember that we are truly a huge effect on our environment. And we can put into our environment what we want other people to react to. Because remember, they're not practitioners like yourself, myself. They are just your normal, average, everyday person that's just trying to get through the day. I do want to talk a little bit about wows, and I do want to cover a certain type of person and personality um, who are considered quote unquote bullies and covert aggressors. And then we're going to put it all together, just like we do. So, what if you could enjoy your family, your clients, your colleagues, your relationships each and every day despite the situation? What if you could effectively communicate boundaries? What if you set the tone for your environment? What if you controlled your instincts and responded rather than reacted? You could be free to choose what you're going to do. And we all know that's just not a what if now. You guys have actually done it. You guys have actually done each one of these things. And we're really going to work on enjoying our healthy, happy, self-full relationships with ourselves. We started with ourselves. We're going to continue on working on ourselves because that's an evolutionary process. I still do it every day. I still work on how I deal with situations. I still look at myself and my feelings and my emotions, and then I make a choice as to what I'm going to put into my environment. And the same is true if you for anyone if they choose that they want to have that happy life, because happiness has a lot to do with the state of your relationships with other people and yourself. Okay, so here at Agape Intelligence, and love is the word, we care about the whole of you. We want to know you as a whole person. Your family is the most important thing to us because each of you are our family. Your health matters, and we need you to take breaks, go to lunch, go home, and enjoy your family and friends. We show you dignity and respect because we want you to feel the support of being a part of a family who cares for you. We want to spend a few hours a month with each of you just to listen to you because what you think, feel, and believe matters to us. Now, I use these here we care about or we love or whatever. I use these slides because I really want people to understand when I'm working with them, when I'm serving them as a leader, a client, a speaker, that this is all a part of what you get from love is the word. And I want you guys to be able to take this and use it as you are entrepreneurs and leaders within your own businesses, right? These are the type of things that we say to people that actually we really truly believe in, and we shock them and we treat people in this manner, and so people want to come back to us over and over and over again, right? Because they know that they're going to be cared about. Okay, here we love ideas. We love to hear ideas. We love to incubate ideas. We love big ones and we love small ones. We love to be there with you and see you smile. Most of all, we love to listen, even if we may not agree, or get to work together to flesh out ideas. Here, we need you to be different. We love good and passionate conflict. We are each human's first and last, with the role we play on our name tag in the middle. There is no big me or little you, there is just all of us. The best and most wonderful ideas come from diverse people working together. Here, we make mistakes. We make them and we learn from them. We make them and we evolve from them. We make them and we get better than we were the day before. We don't compete with each other, we compete with ourselves. Can we be better than we were the day before? Sometimes it's a little bit harder than we think, and sometimes it's a little bit easier. Just depends on the day, but we try. We make mistakes and wrong choices and we own them. Stand and take responsibility and accept the consequences of our behaviors, because behaviors have consequences, right? We make mistakes and we forgive despite the discipline, even if it's just we all learned from the mistake. So we've talked about this before. There's a difference between punishment and discipline. Discipline actually requires us to have a relationship with the person and to have a care and a concern for the growth of the person, right? Ourselves or others. So we understand the difference between a mistake and an ongoing behavioral pattern in which we choose to continue hurtful behaviors without care. Here, we honor your rights as humans. We honor your right to feel emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually safe. We honor your right to dignity and respect. You get to share how you feel with whoever it is privately and respectfully. You can say no or yes to a request. We honor your right to make choices. We get to be happy even when others feel differently. Here, we admit and right wrongs. We take responsibility and are accountable for our behaviors. We admit wrongs publicly, taking responsibility for results that did not hit the mark, and give praise for what went right to the team. We discipline and deliver consequences privately rather than punish. Information or feelings shared by others remains private. If something needs to be done, we investigate and listen to diverse sides to drill down to the facts, the what, when, where, and who. We build relationships rather than sycophants. We care, listen, clarify, communicate, mentor, and coach because we care. Here, you get to learn new and exciting concepts of relationship building. Agape Intelligence, our toolbox, dialectical behavioral therapy, project management basics. We even talk about strategizing influence and earning trust and credibility, communication techniques. Um, there's so many different ones, and even down to one of my favorite set of books is Servant and Transformational Leadership. Um, so Here, this is all that we do with every situation. We take the time. You and your behaviors are the keys to affecting outcomes. Listen to your thoughts and behaviors in response to others. Control your behavior, master your instincts, and self study, right? So we go from self study, mastering and controlling our behaviors, to listening and being aware of our environment, our body language, um, choosing to do the right thing instead of needing to be right. So let's talk a little bit about motivation. Motivations need to be intrinsic, need to meet the needs of the people that you are trying to motivate, out loud, by email, in person, where others can hear, and at meetings. It needs to rotate, and you use the descriptor sheet to help you to send a wow, because a wow is something that we send out loud, and it's a little something that I came up with so that we change the conversation on emails. We can stop email bombing people and things like that, and we can decide that we are going to try to catch people doing wows, doing just a good job, a great job, or an excellent or genius job, and shouting it all over to let everybody know how wonderful that person did and how great it made other people feel, including ourselves. And thank them so much for what they did, because I can tell you the truth, and I know you guys know this. People can choose to do other than good and other than doing the right thing. So we should be able to applaud people out loud, spend our time doing that, you know? And that's something that should be done very publicly. Discipline versus punishment. We talked about this before, but I just want to remind you, I just want you to contemplate just a little bit that discipline does require relationships. And because we care about the other person and ourselves in the relationship, we clarify expectations. We make sure that people understand behaviors have consequences. You share your boundaries and you listen and give respectful, reasonable respect to the boundaries of others. You investigate facts and use discernment. Coach, mentor, and then move to progressive discipline. Consider the whole person and try to do the right thing. The thing about punishment is, and this is why we don't use it in Agape Intelligence, is that it doesn't require a relationship, because everything we do in AI requires a relationship. Consequences given based on feelings, desire to be right, which means the other person either has to be wrong or they need to agree with you, and that's not really fair. That doesn't open people up to be able to share their ideas and to make choices without having somebody like step down on them. So um, what the next subject is bullying, and a lot of people think of bullying as it's just at school and in high school and junior high and elementary. And I have to tell you that that is absolutely not true. It's also at work, and it's also out in our community as grown adults. And these and what tends to happen is um, the person who's bullying tends to belittle, put down, focus on mistakes. They blame for negative results and they take credit for the good results. They harass people, they elicit fear. They definitely get into mobbing, getting other people to get on board with the fear tactics against a target. Um, they use covert and overt behaviors, and they rarely give praise or support. Do a lot of punishing, and they're very homogenous in nature, meaning they don't like diversity of thought or diversity of anything for that matter, culture, anything. They like for people to do what they do and get with what they get with. So, bullying, lying, covert aggressors, here's what they do, what they want. They want to win, to get their way, to damage, to be right. Coming out on top, that's the whole thing. And when it's about this, then it's They'll do whatever is necessary to win, to lie. They'll fabricate something. It gives them a rush, and it certainly does the gotcha. So, bullying at work is often directed at the person who is popular and an overachiever. So that's usually who the target is. And bullying at work can cause and or aggravate diabetes, heart problems, high blood pressure, cancer, digestive problems, asthma, depression, and anxiety among other things. Bullying at work is a targeted behavior which often includes unreasonable tasks, timelines, and punishment, including write ups, verbal put downs, isolation, personal and hurtful jokes at the target's expense. See, when we feel unsafe, then our amygdala just comes alive and it does everything to tell you you don't this isn't safe, this doesn't feel good. Nope, nope, not gonna do it. We're not doing it. And you can see the different body regulations that happen and are triggered. Physical reactions, attuned communication, emotional balance, all the things that are really a problem when we don't feel safe, when we feel unsafe. So even the fear modulation and empathy, insight, moral awareness, and intuition. You know, unsafe behaviors are situations the amygdala takes over the prefrontal cortex, which is where your thinking brain is and your reasonable brain. And you tend to have a reaction, and that's why we did so much work on choosing your behaviors despite what the situation is. You know, I really took some time to look into a couple of animals. And one of the things I looked at, one of the animals I looked at was snakes. And I have to tell you, because sometimes we'll say, oh, that person's a snake or whatever. And really, I get why people say that about some people because a snake doesn't have friends. Like they're not like with other snakes. They're like crawling over each other, but they're not like, "Hey, how's your day? I'm fine. I'm cool. How is yours? How the kids?" You know, "Oh, fine. The wife is fine. The husband's good." Okay, they don't do all that. You either serve a purpose or you don't. You're either food or warmth. Okay, it's one of those two things. And so we can't expect out of certain types of people who may not have a seventh sense, meaning they don't have that morality sense or that integrity, right? Um, they won't get with being your friend. They know how to pretend to be a friend, you know, but they're not truly there with it. Like they don't really care. And it comes out and seeps out in so much of what they do. And so, one of the things that I put into this was the fact that 1 in 4 people in the US are sociopaths, psychopaths. The lay term is sociopath. And like I said, they have little or no seventh sense. They have no ability to empathize. Now, does that mean that we treat them the way that they treat us? No. What we do is get very much stronger on our boundaries. I've encountered all kinds of people like this, including my parents. And what works every single time is boundaries. You know, you call them out and you go, okay, so you did this. We do it in private. You did this. And I need to let you know that didn't make me feel like whatever, which they probably already know, which is why they did it, right? So they could win and, they get a rush from this. And so you just let them know this is a boundary. Don't cross this line. Behaviors have consequences, and I just need to let you know that. Now we can go on with our day and let's do some work, you know. So, truly, this is how I deal with it. And the other thing is that I always say this, like in a lot of organizations, there's sharks in the water, snakes on the ground. You are not safe in land or water, right? And that's what your amygdala is telling you. Sometimes it's just so difficult at work, and I want you to know that true, these people rely on their instincts, and they can mimic emotions and things like that. But I want you to know that because you are learning agape intelligence, you have the ability to maintain your gated fence around your beautiful agape house by boundary setting. Because that's what boundaries are. They're like a fence around your house. So I really just want you to know that just because someone is, not your cup of tea, or even if they are your cup of tea, you can do this. You can really choose the right people to be in your life based on listening to their behaviors, and then build a healthy, self-full relationship that is enormously happy with that person. Thank you each so much.